World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your Dress Down CEO host, Tyrone Glover, is coming to you live from our location in Yonkers, New York. We want to welcome you. We know it's been a minute since we have been on the air, but what we have been doing in that time frame is we have been putting together some great PowerPoints, getting set up for our We Outside, Pull Up a Chair in Getty Square event. We have been just making sure that we wrap up this academic season, getting prepared for that 250th anniversary of this nation. So we got some things in store for you. We got some things that we are ready to rock and roll and pull out. We are going to make sure that this next generation is prepared. And we want to thank you for taking the time, making the time, because that's what we do here. We make time for the things that we find important. So before we dive into any craziness and understanding, we want to give a shout out to Soul City Network, Leverage Your Score, which is hosted by me and all of the great talents and acts that are part of this great platform, Soul City Network. Our mentor and personality of extraordinary understanding, Dr. Yana B., and every individual who's part of the Soul City Network. So as always, Soul City Network is a nationally syndicated broadcast, and it's going through a variety of different understandings. And we are grateful to the fact that we get to do what we do, which is help you, that part of the community that needs it more than ever to be on point when it comes to. So again, to reach us, you can reach us at Soul City Network, obviously. You can reach us at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. And you can also reach us at 805-428-9424. If you're struggling, if you're going through it, whatever that might look like, please do not hesitate. We know you have questions, and that's why that We Outside, Pull Up a Chair in Getty Square is going to be all about making sure that you can talk to us professionals, get those questions answered so that 251, as we celebrate 250 years of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that 251 does not continue in that same direction. All right, so let's go ahead and get this party started. The party is going to be about no prosthetic for amputated spirits. Listen to that really quick. All right. No prosthetic for amputated spirits. All right. This is a presentation. This is not about anything but clarity. It's about whether we will protect the future or continue sending children into adulthood without the proper understanding. All right. So we're going to do our part. The question is, will those who are equally in play do theirs? All right, so as always, our PowerPoint presentations always start off with a question. Actually, we're going to start off with 3 questions. All right, so that first question is going to be, are we making sure that the next generation is prepared for the future or sending them forward financially unprepared. I want you to think about that for a second. Just think about it for a second. Are we making sure that the next generation is prepared for the future, or sending them forward financially unarmed? What happens when caring is not enough? Because leadership will not fund what caring requires. All right, you got to let them marinate for a little bit. They're going to send you through that thought process, so you got to let them marinate for a little bit. And that final question is, what happens when the mandate arrives, but the resources are missing from the room? Yes, there is a mandate that is required by every school, every district in New York State, came through from the governor, started in March. So all you schools, all you districts, all you principals, all you superintendents, everybody out there, have you been paying attention? Have you been instilling? Have you been doing what needs to be done? Because this next generation will not, they must not go into this next academic season unprepared. Because if they do, I'm the first person. I'm the first person that's going to be blowing that bullhorn, blowing that whistle every minute of the day. News 12, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all of you, be prepared, because come the beginning of the next academic season, if there are no real teeth behind this mandate, I'm the first person who's going to be blowing that horn, telling you that you will not sabotage this next generation. Absolutely not. Will not happen. So I'm asking everybody, every leader, every parent, every educator, every business owner, union leader, and elected official must answer these three questions. Because our next generation will not be these sacrificial lambs of what the past generation has unfortunately gone through. They will be creators of their own wealth. And that's going to start with us. All right, so here we are, financial literacy. Financial literacy is no longer optional because survival is no longer simple. All right, that's a heavy one to carry, and I understand. I'm going to let this sit in the room for a little bit. Think about that. Think about you as somebody who's now 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 even. This is no longer an optional understanding. Our next generation, our next leaders, our next doctors, our next astronauts, our next accountants, our next whatever that looks like. I'm watching a graduating class right now walk into that next stage of whatever their academia or whatever that life may look like. I'm watching them right now walk out of them doors unprepared. Now, some of them have the wherewithal, some of them have the parents, some of them have the understanding, and I'm grateful for them. But there's a large percentage that does not. Us professionals, us practitioners, we are calling on every single last elected official, doctor, lawyer, whatever you might be in a congressional capacity. Leaders of all the spaces that I've been into who have said, oh my God, we don't have the talent, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the skill set. The greatest country on the face of the planet keeps talking about how great we are, but yet we're sending 70, 80% into the population unprepared. Financially. Yeah, they might have a diploma, but what does that diploma mean if they can't navigate that space in which they're getting ready to reside in? The choice is yours. This is not a slogan. This is not conditions of real households facing rent, debt, wages, banking, taxes, credit, housing, and civic decisions every single day. Yeah, this is real, folks. Real talk from real individuals. That's why it's called Real Ones in the Room. So the mandate is not the finish line, it is the starting line. The danger is treating policies as victories while students remain without practical tools. The mandate must become movement, implementation, funding, and accountability. This is for everybody listening, whether you're listening now, whether you listen later on, whether you find it in a day or two, whether you find it in a month or two. Soul City's going to be here. Question is, will you scroll upon it and then roll past it? Or will you scroll upon it and take a few minutes to listen to it? Because that's what this is all about. There's a mandate out there in New York State. And that mandate must become paramount. We are at a crossroads right now, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, students of all ages. We're talking about your future and what you're going to do with what you have or what you will be prepared for. And what you have is not cutting it. It's not making it. It's not doing it. Plain and simple. All right, so good intentions do not build infrastructure. By no means of the imagination does that build infrastructure. Caring is not enough. Leaders cannot keep saying they value children while leaving the work underfunded. Love without structure cannot build a future. Yeah, I'm preaching right now. It ain't even Sunday, but I'm letting you know that whatever has been going on must cease to exist. I am not running for any office. I don't care to be a politician, but if I have to step into that arena, I will do it gratefully and with all of everything that I got. But I'm letting you know now, we have a duty to that next generation. And listening to what I'm saying, I'm hoping it registers. There is no prosthetic for an amputated spirit. None. Zero. And you're probably wondering, where did he get that from? That sounds familiar. Well, I want you to go back to, and if you haven't already, I want you to watch Scent of a Woman. Al Pacino won his first Oscar, many nominations, but won his first Oscar for that movie. And there was a scene in that movie that moved me beyond recognition. It was how he was defending the integrity, the morality, the decency of that young man that he was speaking for. You got to watch the scene. The scene is out there. Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino. The whole movie is amazing, but that one little piece, every single time that I hear it, every single time that I experience it, it brings up this, what you're getting right now: passion, love, desire to make sure that this next generation has more than we could possibly ever give it, so it is well prepared. All right, so those of you who have taken that oath, those of you who claim to be our elected officials, you need to think about that oath. The oath of service. It connects speakers, veterans, experiences to public duty. Leadership is not about titles. Leadership is about willingness to carry responsibility even when the cameras leave. That's leadership. It's not just about a photo op. It's not just about coming around every 6 months to 12 months, 24 months, whatever that looks like, handing out a flyer talking about, oh, we dare to help, we dare to fight. I was a veteran. Excuse me, I'm still a veteran, but I was a soldier. And I understood when I raised that hand. I understood when I took that oath. And today it still stands with me. So stop, all of you elected officials out there. Service does not end when the uniform comes off. Responsibility does not end when the meeting adjourns. Leadership does not end when the title is secured. And all of y'all out there doing whatever it is that y'all doing, both parties, Democrats and Republicans, you've put us in this position where you have me now speaking so passionately, not anger, because they're all confused when a black man is talking as anger. Being mad, y'all confused when the black man is talking as being mad, upset. Save those adjectives for those who don't understand what you're trying to underline. Not at all. Educated, smart, savvy, wise, brilliant, talented. And every single one of you youth out there, same thing. Smart, brilliant, bright, talented. The one thing that you're missing is you don't understand that God-given talent already possesses inside you. And our job is to make sure that it's not being exploited to make you think that you're lesser than, because you're not. And all you oath takers, we watch it. We know what you did. We know how you did it. We know why you did it. And we're not mad. We're not upset. But we're telling you now, moving forward, after we celebrate 250, you won't get 251 with the same status quo. Not going to happen. All right? So chaos. Think about that, y'all. Chaos where curiosity should be. Intelligence, or excuse me, ignorance where intelligence should be. Intolerance where humanity should be. Cowering where strength should be. Silence where courage should be. What are we talking about here? Why is it that somebody has to bring this to you now, knowing what you have done? Leaders of all industries, whether that be academia, whether that be corporate America, whether that be banking, whether that be unions, every bit of you, every one of you, talking to you directly. And I'm hoping at some point that you do scroll upon this at some point, because you need to hear it. But we're going to change the way that things have been, and it's only going to take what we're doing here, having the dialogue, having the strength to be able to talk to those individuals in this manner. So an amputated spirit is potentially dangerous before it can mature. Ooh, think about that for a second, y'all. All right? I'm watching, I'm seeing it on a daily basis. It shows up as exhaustion, distrust, silence, lowered expectation, and young people who stop believing systems were built for them. Think about that for a second. You're sending that new, now graduated individuals into that world. What have you really done for them, academia? What have you really done for them, leadership? And now you've been given an opportunity to do even more, but you're going to squander it. You're going to allow for it to what? Let them figure it out on their own? They're not going to figure it out on their own. They're going to need this wisdom, this gray and this chin. They're going to need that wisdom, which they might see as old, but we who have that understanding, we see it as wisdom. We put them two elements together. We create exactly what we want to send a clear message. We're not amputating any more spirits. We are building. We are bridging that gap between parent and academia and government. Because it still says, no matter what y'all try to keep doing, it still says, we the people on that Constitution. And we the people will be standing up for that next generation. I mean, I'm on a roll right now. You're probably thinking, this man is going off. No, I'm not going off. I'm just making it clear. That's all I'm doing. I'm not here to put nothing in nobody's ear or eyes or whatever. I'm here to present a case, because this is an indictment against all of us, including me. Institutions can claim to build leaders while crushing integrity. That's a hard one to swallow right there. That's a hard one, including myself. The warning was never only about students. It was about what happens when adults protect power instead of protecting the futures. Yeah, I'm going to send y'all thinking about tonight. I'm going to send y'all off to whatever that might look like. As I said, whether you listen to it tonight, whether you come across it at some point later on in the week, whether you come across it at some point later on in the month, But we're going to be constantly putting out this type of hard-hitting lessons for everyone, that this mandate will not fall on deaf ears. It will not be another campaign slogan. It will not be another, let me just talk about it in a PowerPoint. It will not be, oh, let's put it up on the news for 10 seconds and then forget about it forever. This next generation will have, and it will come from those foot soldiers who are going to be doing what? We outside. Thank you, Kiss. We outside. And we're bringing this conversation to those neighborhoods. We're going to be talking to everybody. We know you got questions. We know you got concerns. So let's address them. Let's call them out. Let's put it right on there. But I'm asking everybody, come correct. Don't come with no shenanigans and no tomfoolery. Come correct. You got a concern, you got an issue, you got something that we need to confront them with, then by all means, let us do it. But let's do it in the manner in which it's going to yield what we want. And that is resolution. Because I can tell you right now, 30 minutes from where I am in Yonkers, you know how many millionaires live in New York City? 384,000 millionaires live in New York City. You know how many centimillionaires live in that very same area? 818 centimillionaires. That's those who have a net worth over $100 million. There are 66 billionaires that live in New York City. We are surrounded by wealth, but yet we keep coming up short. I told you I was going to hit you hard today. I let you know. I actually let you know on multiple occasions that I was going to hit hard. The next generation is in the chair. All right. The next generation are there. School districts, city halls, city governments, Albany, Washington, boards, businesses, banks, foundation, parents, all of us. We are here. We are here. We are all here. Not here to discuss, not here to analyze, not here to further a conversation that doesn't need to be furthered any longer. We are here asking for fund, space, and give us the opportunity to make sure that this next generation does not become victims of what the past 7 generations have. Oh, I can go through it all with you, but I got limited time. For today, anyway. But I can go through it all, every bit of what I'm telling you right now. There's a whole lot more that is to come. But I'm just giving you a little glimpse. I'm giving you a little taste. And please, again, let me reinforce what I said earlier. Don't think this is anger. Don't think this is mad. Don't think for a second that this is someone who doesn't get it and is confused and is letting all this, whatever that might be, emotion. I have no feelings. My mother will tell you that. My nephews and nieces will tell you that. I come with facts, not feelings. And there are a lot of facts that I have been throwing out, not just here, but in other broadcasts as well. And there are going to be way more facts that are going to be coming down the pipeline. And I want to thank Matt. I want to thank everyone for building me up to this point, giving me all those tidbits. Yep, do this, change this up, make this happen. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Every bit that I get, I might not respond to it immediately, but I'm doing that part. But again, the next generation is in the chair. And trust me, we are building our own tables, bringing our own chairs. And we're going to have those conversations. The committees are bigger. Now schools, city halls, counties, state government, businesses, unions, families. Again, think about it. What do you want for that next generation? Because I'm thinking about it. And I want you to be part of that conversation. They may exclude you, but we are definitely going to include you. So what kind of leaders are we producing? All right, think about that for a second. What kind of leaders are we really producing? Citizens or consumers? Builders or borrowers? Owners or renters of opportunities? Courage or complacency. Think about that. Let that marinate again for a little bit, because you know what happens with marinated food. Come on now. Don't play with me. That's what happened with marinated food. It tastes real good. That had been sitting up in that goodness. Well, think about this. This is that goodness. We're marinating that brain. We're making sure that you get that information, let it sit there for a little bit. So when you come correct at them pull-ups, when you come correct at that We Outside event, so you come correct with all. I want everybody. I want the churches. I want the barbers. I want the hairdressers. I want the makeup artists. I want the fashionistas. I want them all. Pull up. Come outside. Talk that talk. Let's make sure that this next generation has what it needs, because there's more than enough of it to go around. Over the next probably maybe 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, whatever that looked like, we're going to have one person in this country that has more wealth than GDPs of nations. There's going to be one person in this country that is going to be a trillionaire. I don't have to tell you who it is. Y'all know who it is. All right, so what does that look like for all of us? All right, the graduates must understand the world without, the graduates must understand the world waiting outside the doors. There it is. All right, they must. Every single graduate that I had the opportunity of signing that yearbook, every single graduate that come to me and said, Mr. Glover, you have made such an impact on my life. Thank you so much. Every single graduate that I've seen since 2015 that has come back and said, man, I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention. Man, I wish I would have followed exactly what you were saying. Not exactly 100%, but at least 80, 90%. A graduate, before they leave high school, must understand a paycheck. They must understand what's coming out of that paycheck. They must understand that a net is not the same as a gross. They must understand that that credit is just like their GPA. That credit is a reputation. It tells the lender as to how well they can trust them. Same thing with that GPA. You get 40s and 50s, that means that employer or that next college, they're going to be looking at you like, well, we can't trust you. Can't give you that loan. We can't do that. We can't give you that scholarship. Credit's the exact same thing. Taxes. Understand that tax before it comes and hits you in the you know what, and then you're thinking, oh my God, I worked 40 hours, but it seems like I'm only getting 20 hours worth of pay. Banking. Why are we having individuals who claim that, or the system claims that they are unbankable? You know what that created? That created check cashing. That created an alternative to the traditional banking that was already there. Debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. There's appreciation debt and then there's depreciation debt. Ask a high schooler what those two things are, and you'd be shocked to find out that they have no clue. Investing. Investing is long-term. Trading is the job. But yet we don't talk about trading. We talk about giving somebody your money, putting it away for 30, 40 years, and then coming back with 2-3% return. Housing, unaffordability. Donald Trump may go ha 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 he he ha ha. The Republicans may go ha ha he he ha ha. The Democrats may be super silent, but housing should not be unaffordable. Voting. We're watching all this gerrymandering going on. We're watching 150 million people in this country who think their vote doesn't matter. Labor, dignity, integrity, insurance. Labor should be stacked to the hilt. You shouldn't be worried about minimum. It shouldn't be a fair. It should be a living labor wage. Ownership. Nobody should be spending their lives renting when they should be owning. Because owning creates that appreciation. It gives you something to look at and pass down. It creates that generational wealth. that we constantly keep talking about that never seems to make it into those communities in which it should. All right, I make some long pauses, but I'm doing that because I need you to think about that for a second. All right, as I said earlier, close to wealth, far from opportunities. Close to wealth, far from opportunities. Proximities of enormous wealth and proximities of ongoing struggle. Geographic should not put children close to wealth, but far from opportunities. As I said, 384,500 millionaires, New York City. 818 centimillionaires. I asked some of my students, what is centi? They had no clue. $100 million wealth. 66 billionaires. One of those billionaires could solve so many problems. All these buildings being built around New York and Yonkers and White Plains and Mount Vernon and New Rochelle, Poughkeepsie, you name the place. All these high rises going up. If you can build a high rise, guess what? You can use that same subsidy to do what? Sponsor 5 to 10 schools. So you want our taxpayer dollar through subsidies? Well, guess what you're going to have to now start doing? You're going to have to now start owning up to making sure that this next generation has. Because you don't want people like me running. You don't want me running. You don't want me running. You don't. You don't want the people that I'm bringing into the world to have the same knowledge that I have running against you. That's for all parties. That's not just for the Republicans. That's for the Democrats as well. All right, I'm speaking truth to power, and I know it's going to rub some people the wrong way, but guess what? This is what you need to hear. And you need to hear it from this type of face, this type of educated face, this type of smart face, this type of wise, savvy, brilliant, talented face. The question is not whether money exists. The question is what we value enough to fund. You got a mandate, New York State. You have a mandate, Yonkers, New York. You have a mandate, neighboring communities. I got a question a couple of weeks back. Oh, we're syndicated. We broadcast you're right. But guess what we have to do first? We got to take care of home. So I'm always going to talk about making sure that Yonkers, which is an ideal community, which is the third largest, second, third, depending on the time of the month, in New York State, which is the largest in Westchester County, which has a demographic that is ideal to do what? To help model. New York can scale it, and the rest of the nation can replicate it. So it's about deciding, what do we really value? Well, me personally, I value all of us, every last one of us. But I'm going to let the Yonkers know, get it together, Yonkers, because White Plains, you got me if you need me. The Bronx, Brooklyn, New York City, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, you got me. You need me, call me. I got you. Because if Yonkers don't get it together, neighboring communities, I'm there for you. If New York State don't get it together, again, Chicago, Detroit, heck, Texas, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. Y'all going to have to change your politics a little bit, because y'all ain't going to be calling me no N-word talking about, oh, that's okay, because that ain't going to work for me. I'm telling you that right now. I'm coming with this same mouth. I'm coming with this same enthusiasm. I'm coming with this same spirit. Because I can look back and look at history. I know that Lake Lanier used to be a prominent Black neighborhood before it got flooded. I know that O'Hara Airport used to be a prominent Black neighborhood before the military went in there and created now O'Hara Airport. I know that Central Park used to be called Seneca Valley before it was eminently domained by whom? somebody who's got an airport named after him. Some of you don't know this, but that is LaGuardia. 28. I know that Tulsa, Oklahoma was a proud, Black, brilliant neighborhood, torn down, burnt up. So our ancestors are looking at me right now, and everything that's coming into this brain, everything that's going out to you is coming from them ancestors. I know the Constitution. I want to give a huge, amazing shout out to Melissa Murray. Melissa Murray. Think about that name, ladies and gentlemen. Melissa Murray. She got a book out about the Constitution, simple, easy read. I dove into it just this weekend about the Constitution. Oh my goodness. Now, I've already shared with you, I'm not that strong of a reader. I'm not that strong of a person. I grew up with dyslexia. I grew up with all of those deficiencies. But you're looking at somebody that has overcome most of them. But that book by Melissa Murray, The Constitution, is simply brought to a level of understanding that anybody can understand it. It's a brilliant read. It is a brilliant understanding that every single person in this country needs to spend some time in. Melissa Murray, thank you very much. All right, so the question is, moving right along. All right, so the data is shouting. The data is out there. It's telling you 27%, 5 out of 7 financially knowledge questions correctly. That means 27% can answer 5 out of 7 financial literacy questions accurately. 63%. Think about that. 63% of Americans in the richest nation on the face of the planet, $400 emergency. So if that goes up to $1,000, that number's drop. If that goes up to $1,500, that number's drop. It is sad to say that 87% of this nation lives paycheck to paycheck. National financial knowledge remains weak, and financial fragility is real. This is why financial education must be supported with urgency. Not with, we're going to research. Not with, we need to do more studies and analysis. We've done all that. I wouldn't be in the position that I am today to speak so articulately about it if it wasn't that I already did my history and my homework. I wouldn't be on Soul City Network doing what I'm doing today if I didn't have all of that information already to present to you, because I've done my due diligence. Matt wouldn't spend no time on putting somebody up there who's going to got some fabricated information. Jasmine wouldn't be sitting behind somebody talking about you go, young man. And I definitely know my mentor and persons that I reach out to all the time. Dr. Yana B wouldn't be talking about, that's my go-to guy when it comes to this. Because they all are just as bright, brilliant, talented, smart, savvy, wise, beautiful, handsome in every capacity. And they want the same thing that I want for that next generation. But these numbers cannot continue to keep being thrown up in our faces and act like politicians are doing something. You're not doing anything. Well, I'm not going to, let me rephrase that. You're not doing as much as you can. And now that this mandate is hitting New York State, every single leader in New York State, you better get on board. Because if you don't, we're going to be calling you out. We're going to be making sure that that next generation, whether it be a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, 25-year-old, they're going to run against you. And they're going to have the facts. They're going to have the data as to what you have done. And if you didn't support this mandate in whatever capacity that you have the ability to, guess what? Don't be surprised. So this could be part 2 of, because we're getting close. We're getting close. I'm still calling out. We still got a length of PowerPoint here. So this might have to take 2 times. And that's okay. All right. So 400 should not be, 400 should not become a crisis. 37% cannot cover it using cash or the equivalents. 1 in 3 is still too many households under pressure. These numbers have to change. These numbers have to change in the richest nation on the face of the planet. A city too important to be underrepresented. All right, when I think of Yonkers, 83,000 is the medium. With a person in poverty, 13.8%. Per capita, 44,000. We are not discussing an abstract community. We are discussing a real city with real households, real students, and real stakes. So I'm asking you, Yonkers, are you ready? Are you willing to do what's needed? Because now I'm going to be asking New York. Since you're the largest, are you ready? Have you followed the mandate that's been out since March? I think it's Rochester that's number 1 and number 2 and number 3 that New York keeps. Are you ready? Because I can tell you right now, those affluent areas are doing what they need to be doing. So what about those so-called perceived marginalized community? Are you ready? Are you sitting down the boards and the directors? Are you ready? Do you have something already in play? Or is it going to be that, well, let's give it to the financial math teacher. Let's give it to the social studies teacher. Let's look for somebody who's certified, who gets eaten up when they go into these perceived marginalized communities, thinking that they go in with a soft glove approach. With kids who are boisterous, who are opinionated, who will be in that face 24/7. Rightfully so, because they're concerned about their future. When you have somebody like me who's a practitioner, came from corporate America, where corporate America for 30 years was talking about we don't have the brights, we don't have the talent, we don't have that brilliance. So me and corporate America said, hey, no problem, cool. Let me go into academia, see what I can do over there. Get into academia, you're running academia just like a business. Students don't generate money for the money that they get. They have to get that education. They have to go out into that world, and then hopefully they do what I do, come back to their communities and open up businesses and see things progress, see things improve. But every time we do something, it's building a wall, building a wall, building a wall, building a wall. We're tearing down those walls for that next generation. But these numbers got to change. And the only way they change is if we have these types of conversations. All right? So the world will not ask if they were prepared. Rent will not ask if they were prepared. Credit will not ask if they were prepared. Taxes will not ask if they were prepared. Debt will not ask if some students were repaired. And the economy will simply charge them. It's just that simple. I didn't know that student loan debt had gone up to 9.25%. Student loan debt. We won't give a student a place to put and call home or shelter, but we will saddle them with a 9.25% student loan debt of 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000, and even more depending on what type of degree you get. This next generation will not be sacrificial lambs. We cannot rewound the clock. We can change the next class. Think about that. As I said, let some of this stuff marinate a little bit. Let it sit there for a minute. But think about that. We cannot rewound the clock, but we can change the next class. The mandate can become the game changer if it is funding. So Kathy Hochul, Mayor Spano, neighboring communities, because I don't know everybody in those all neighboring communities, but guess what? I've been sending y'all stuff. Y'all been receiving emails. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, you let your IT guys set it up so your emails go into the junk file. Oh, because we're not that connected. We're not that close. What is it? 37% of emails are not even being read. All right, legislators of Yonkers. I'm calling you all out. I'm putting you in, I'm putting the spotlight right on that face. I'm not calling you out by name, but I'm calling you out by title. So when you start getting these emails coming through again, because I'm not stopping. Oh, I'm just getting warmed up. Speaking of getting warmed up, congratulations to our New York Knicks. Yes, 53 years. 53. Shout out, huge shout out. Good job, gentlemen. Good job, assistant coaches, everybody else who did what they needed to do. Good job, coaches. Good job, those doctors and physicians who kept these individuals healthy. Good job. Thank you very much. Good job. Now, we need you to do a better job at making sure that this next generation has. Because we can't rewound that clock, but we can change the next class. All right, so again, financial literacy without civics literacy is incomplete. All right, we need to know what's going on locally. We always talk about the national elections. Even myself always partake in the national election, but forgot about what's going on locally in my community. Never thought that that really meant a lot because I was always so fixated on who's the president. Well, I need to be fixated on who's the dog catcher. Because that dog catcher might end up being the next mayor. And I haven't been paying close enough attention. Are they in line with what's going on in their community? All right. Money moves through policy. Policy moves through people. People move through power. A student that understands the paycheck and the public budget, the credit score, and the consumer rights complaints, the tax return, and the tax policy is an informed consumer. I told you. I told you what I told you every single time that I get online, get on this program. I'm coming with some real data, facts, and understanding. But as we began this conversation, there is no prosthetic for an amputated spirit. And unfortunately, too many of our children have had amputated spirits. Too many of our single parents, amputated spirits. Too many of the older generation that's living on a fixed income, amputated spirits. Too many of our homeless veterans, amputated spirits. Too many of us working poor, amputated spirits. Too many of us working homeless, amputated spirits. Too many of the middle class, the ever eroding middle class, amputated spirits. That is going to change. And right there, financial literacy without civic literacy is incomplete. Oh, yeah, I'm giving it to you tonight. I know, I'm going to hear about it, but it's okay because there's going to be that's one of the comedians said, a lot of more. There will be a lot of more coming down the pipeline, a whole lot more. All right, so the money lesson is also a power lesson. All right, that's not hard to understand. Wages, are they fair? Are they living? Or will they remain minimum? Taxes. What do you know about taxes? How much do you, if you made $100,000, what comes out of that? You think you got a good salary? Oh man, I'm making $100,000. Stay single. I'm a single person, so $100,000 turns into $50,000 as soon as that tax man got his hand out. That $50,000, which is now half of that $100,000, turns into $25,000, depending on where I live. So of that 100 grand out of two types of extractions, taxes and living, not the expenses that come with living, but just living in a decent, respectable, safe neighborhood. That's 75% of your income gone. So that 100,000 that you thought you was like living large with, no, you're not. You're living off 25,000. And that 25,000 has to pay for that car, has to pay for that insurance, has to pay insurance for the car. Not that life insurance, nor that insurance that should come with the dignity of that work. Because that dignity of that work should have always had dental. It should have had vision. It should have had health. It should have had childcare. But at some point along this 250 years, there's also been 250 years of theft, zoning, gentrification. Bye, see ya, we don't need it. School budgets. What kind of citizens are we really producing? What kind of citizens are we really putting out in the world? Banking rules. So a high yield for a bank is 4%, 7%. Last time I checked, if it's not in the double-digit numbers, there's nothing high about that other than you being high on whatever it is that you are trying to peddle on us. Labor laws. 49 out of the 50 states are at-will states. Somebody help me understand, how is it that our politicians sat around a round table and said, hey, everybody, let's think about this for a second. You know what? I got a great idea. Let's make 49 out of the 50 states at will. So that means you can be fired at will, whatever. Don't have to have just cause. Oh, you wearing that orange today? Oh, you in support of the New York Knicks? Well, guess what? Our bottom line isn't hitting it, so bye-bye. Expendable. One state, Missouri. And that's conditional. Contracts, understanding them before you sign them, whether it be a renting contract, whether it be a credit contract, whether it be a employee contract, turning up at every public hearing. But, oh, they do it so strategically that they're going to have it at either 3 o'clock in the morning, or they're going to have one of them, say, at 5:30 in the afternoon, when it should be all this technology that we have out here today. I'm talking to you through a video conferencing method. And I would love to be able to do this 3 times a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. So politicians, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. Why? So that we can keep our citizens thoroughly informed. All right, so we're wrapping this up, and I'm hoping that if anybody out there has a question, please drop me a question in really quick. We got about 8 more minutes. And if you got a question that you want to put out there into the world that you want me to answer for you, well, as I said, we're going to give you plenty of opportunity to be able to do that. All right, these pull up a chair in Getty Square. We're going to be pulling up a chair in multiple squares. But we're going to start at home first. And I got to give a shout out to Jada Kiss. We outside. That is the most attractive understanding of being able to say, we come into the streets because we outside. As the weather gets warmer, we outside. We're going to have a tent. We're going to have whatever it needs. We're not here to promote anything. We're not here to sell you nothing. We outside to take your questions so that you can go into this next understanding of what this country is supposedly delivering with all of the ammunition that you need. Not ammunition to create havoc, which they want. They don't want conversation. They want confrontation. Well, we're going to be outside. All right, so stop complaining about readiness while refusing to fund preparation. That's for all of you leaders out there. That's for the mandate that has now been passed down from the state of New York. And I want to give a shout out equally to all those other states that are doing, that have been doing. But what teeth are behind your mandate? If 87% of the nation lives paycheck to paycheck, what kind of financial literacy are you really delivering? All right. If you can sponsor a gala, you can sponsor a student. If you can fund a market, you can fund a workbook. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing less, nothing more. That's what I'm talking about. So these excuses, they don't fall anymore on the same individuals because we see through the shenanigans. We see through the nonsense. We understand what you won't do with you or without you. As I've always said, you're either on our side, by our side, or you're what? You're in our way. I want to give another shout out to Reverend Al because he said it best. My condolences to the family of Floyd. Good. We don't need you. We just need you to get up off our necks. George Floyd, my apologies. George Floyd. We don't need you. We just need you to get up off our necks. So don't turn this mandate into a worksheet. Build curriculum students can feel in real life. Paychecks, credit, banking, taxes, entrepreneurship, investing, home ownership, consumer rights, and civic power. Because if you do, I'm telling you, you're going to be pleasantly pleased. I see it every single day when I look into a student's face. I see that will to want to, but I also see that confusion. All right, so we got about 2 more minutes. Again, if you got a question that you want to throw into that space where I can help, where I can answer it. But nevertheless, as I said, this is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're going to be doing this for the next foreseeable. So the classroom needs teachers. The mission needs practitioners. All right, the classroom needs teachers and the mission needs practitioners. All right, so what does that look like? That means student lived experience, or excuse me, standard, my apologies. Standard lived experience, curriculums plus real world applications, students plus community trust. We also need practitioners who are students. Because I tell them all the time, yes, they're going to want to see my face. They're going to maybe want to hear from me, but they're going to want to hear from that alum that graduated that can come back and says, you know, because of Riverside, because of Lincoln, because of Saunders, because of Gordon, because of YMA, because of whatever that school might look like. That's why I'm back in my community, because I received what I needed to go out into that world and then come back. Because of those 2-year schools that I had to do while I was in my state, because I didn't have the resources, but I went into that academia understanding, now being fully educated from the previous academic understanding, and I was able to go into that space and do what I needed to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, that time comes so quick. I want to thank you. I want to sincerely give the New York Knicks, I want to sincerely give Kathy Holcomb, I want to sincerely give all New Yorkers, the rest of this community, and everybody out there. You know what we got to do. Let's do it. Let's make sure that we hold it down for this next generation. This is part 1 of There Is No Prosthetic for an Amputated Spirit. Thank you very much. And as always, be safe, America.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.